At the wedding of my Harvard-educated elite subordinate, the bride, who looked down on me as a high school dropout, said,
"Break ties with your low-educated trash husband, okay?"
I replied, "Oh, is that all right?" Following her words, I handed the groom his termination notice, and what happened as a result is an uplifting and emotional story that will bring tears to your eyes.
My husband is an elite Harvard graduate. This is not a wedding for low-educated po people like you. Don't you dare come near my husband. You might infect him with your stupidity.
I attended the wedding of a colleague from work, and the bride, who was my classmate, verbally abused me, calling me a po high school dropout. As I silently endured, she continued her tirade.
That's why you reek of poverty. From the moment you arrived. Just leave. Get out.
She made a gesture as if shooing away a fly. At that moment, the groom, with a face flushed red, approached us.
What are you saying? She is?
The shocking words from the groom left her pale-faced and speechless. My name is Luna. The only thing that sets me apart a bit is that I grew up in a single-parent household. Before I had any awareness, it seems my parents divorced for some reason, and I have absolutely no recollection of my father. In fact, my faintest childhood memories have no trace of a father. It seems that when I was very young, my parents separated. I have a younger brother and sister. My mother worked multiple jobs and rarely came home, so I took care of them instead. Both of them were very bright kids, and they patiently endured our mother's absence without complaining, accepting it as an inevitable circumstance. Perhaps my mother understood our feelings as children because she made an effort to finish work early and come home for us. However, as I became a high school student, I began to understand. My mother was pushing herself to the limit. She had become thin compared to other mothers, and it was normal for her to have only one meal a day due to her busy work schedule. When she came home, she sacrificed her sleep to take care of the household chores. I wished my mother could take a break, even just a little. But if my mother didn't work, we wouldn't have enough money. I didn't want to burden my younger siblings either. I continued to ponder aimlessly, wondering what I should do, until one day, I saw a certain notice posted at school, and an idea came to me. Yeah, I should just work, right? That's right, a job posting. Thankfully, my mother allowed me to attend high school. Having a high school diploma opens up more job opportunities compared to just completing middle school, so I had a wider range of options for employment. This became the catalyst for my decision to start working immediately after graduation. I thought I would earn money and find happiness. I was determined. However, some of my classmates began to mock me as they saw me earnestly job hunting. I didn't think being from a single-parent household was something I needed to hide, so I talked about it openly, but that only fueled the fire.
Hey, look, it's the po girl from a single-parent household.
I heard laughter from behind in the hallway. When I turned around, there was Emma, one of my classmates.
How nice, Miss Po from a single-parent household. You don't have to study, after all,
Emma said, and the surrounding students laughed along with her. I still wish I could have retorted at that moment, but the fear of the malice directed towards me by multiple people overwhelmed me, and I couldn't say anything back. In that state, Emma threw a cleaning tool at me. It was sudden, and I couldn't avoid it, so the broom hit my leg.
Does it hurt? Well, make sure to clean up. Unlike us, Luna, you have to focus on studying.
Buckets and rags were also thrown at me, and in the end, I was burdened with cleaning duties. Days like that continued. One day, when I returned home, it was rare to see my mother coming back from work. As soon as she saw my face, she spoke to me with a concerned expression.
Luna, are you okay? Is something wrong? Please tell me.
Her gentle words made tears well up in my eyes. However, when I saw my tired mother coming home and doing household chores, I couldn't cry. I'm fine. It's just a bit tough with job hunting.
Luna, if you want to go to college, you don't have to worry. We have something set aside, so you don't have to force yourself to work.
Yeah, I want to work. I'm not that fond of college. My mother didn't press further or ask for reasons. She simply told me to do what I wanted. We have some things set aside, even without resorting to such lies. If we had something set aside, my mother wouldn't have to work so much in the first place. Several days later, we were in the kitchen together at home. My mother, who had been talking with us just moments ago, collapsed in front of my younger siblings and me. It was due to malnutrition and overwork. My mother's job kept her busy, leaving no time for rest, and her body had been silently screaming in pain. She had endured and pushed herself to work despite the aching all over her body, but her body had finally reached its limit.
I'm sorry, Luna.
My mother kept apologizing to me at the hospital. Well, Mom, it's not your fault. It was my decision, I said.
But to drop out of school.
Yes, I had decided to drop out of high school to work in my mother's place. We wouldn't be able to earn money while she was hospitalized. But if my mother were to collapse again, I didn't want to wait for graduation. That's why I made the decision to start working. It's okay. I'll find a job soon. While I had shown determination in front of my mother, I was filled with anxiety when I returned home. What should I do? Who would hire a high school dropout like me? I was actually in a desperate situation. Without a high school diploma, the number of job opportunities drastically decreased, and finding a job that could support a family of 4 was not easy at all. I needed to find a job that allowed me to work multiple jobs, no matter what. That's what I was thinking when I received a call from the school and was summoned by my homeroom teacher. The next day, when I arrived at the school, instead of being guided to a classroom or staff room, I was led to a conference room. Excuse me. There was a calm-looking man in the room. As I was prompted, I sat down in a chair, not knowing what to expect, and the explanation began.
Luna-san, this is the president of KS Company.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you seem energetic and a good kid. I am the president of KS Company. Here, take this.
The president handed me his business card. I tried to remember the proper way to receive a business card from a book and awkwardly took it from him. When I looked at the card, I realized it was from a well-known major company that everyone knew.
Actually, I heard about you.
Oh, thank you.
I want to invite you to join my company.
Her? I was taken aback repeatedly. The man in front of me looked at my surprised expression and kindly smiled.
How about it?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. To my surprise, the president of a major company came to my school and offered me a job. I couldn't let this opportunity slip away. I didn't understand why the president would hire me, but as someone who had been desperately searching for employment, I eagerly nodded my head. And so, I decided to leave high school and start working at a large corporation. 1 month later, with the help of the president, I began my job at the major company. I struggled a lot as everything was new to me, and it was challenging to learn the ropes. Hiring someone with only a middle school education after dropping out of high school was quite unusual, and there were rumors circulating behind my back, suggesting that I was the president's mistress. However, if I couldn't make it here, I would have to take on multiple part-time jobs. That would jeopardize our family's livelihood with 4 mouths to feed. Especially considering my mother's health hadn't fully recovered, if I ended up working multiple part-time jobs, we wouldn't be able to sustain ourselves. So, I endured it with all my might.
Luna-san, can you take care of this for me?
Yes, of course, I'm here.
Luna-san, could you also handle this for me?
Yes, I'll get right on it.
Luna-san, make 30 copies of this and organize them by this afternoon. Just bring them to the conference room.
Understood. Regardless of whether it was my seniors or colleagues, they would assign me tasks and chores without considering my endurance. I constantly battled against gossip and the uncertainty of my livelihood, working tirelessly. I even willingly took on tasks that others disliked. In any case, I couldn't afford to miss this opportunity, so I commuted to the company every day with a desperate determination. Several years later, these documents go here, and those go there. I finished early today. I took a deep breath as I reached a temporary break in my work. I've become quite skilled at organizing documents over the years. With time, one naturally becomes faster at their job.
Luna-san.
Oh, President, welcome back. As I was about to leave the conference room, the President called out to me. It seems that the President will be participating in the next meeting.
Good job. I heard you've been working hard lately, Luna-san. The employees have been praising you.
Really? Thank you so much.
Yeah, hiring you was definitely a good decision.
Being praised by the President made me feel recognized and happy. Now, several years have passed, and people around me are gradually acknowledging my efforts. And a few years later, I became a department manager in the company. Through continuous effort, I earned the trust of those around me and achieved my current position. Until now, I had been working tirelessly for the sake of my family. But now, I work diligently to repay the company that has employed me for so long. It was during such a time that I was summoned by the President. President, excuse me.
Luna-san, welcome. I have something to discuss with you today. Please have a seat.
Yes. Even after several years, I sat in the chair in the President's office that remains mostly unchanged.
The thing is, I actually want to entrust a company to you, Luna-san.
Her? I let out a surprised voice. Someone like me.
Because it's you, Luna-san.
The President looked at me with a serious gaze.
That company is a company aimed at helping families like yours, single mothers. It's a company for women.
As I listened to the explanation, it turned out that the company actively hires single mothers and attracts people who want to support women's empowerment.
It's precisely because you, like Luna-san, have experienced difficult times firsthand that I want to entrust you with the role of president.
But anxiety filled me. Can someone like me really handle it? However, the President patiently waited for my words. I will do it. Please let me do it. And thus, I was entrusted with a company. The company I was entrusted with was indeed a workplace where women could work comfortably, just as the President had described. However, I found several areas for improvement and initiated reforms. We actively hired single mothers as regular employees and established daycare centers and after-school programs within the company. We made sure there was at least one child care professional available to care for the children. We enhanced maternity and child care leave, providing social security and competitive salaries for employees who wanted to continue their careers while having children. The company I had envisioned was gradually taking shape. Moreover, as I became the president, the motivation of the employees began to soar. The president here truly understands women. Absolutely. It's such a great working environment. In the break room, I discreetly overheard a conversation between two employees. They were talking about me. It seemed they were saying that I was a president who understood their concerns. The motivation of these employees had increased, and as a result, there was a strong sense of unity within the company, leading to remarkable performance. I even received a word of praise.
Fantastic.
from the president at the headquarters. It was at that time when a male employee from the headquarters was assigned to our office.
Nice to meet you. My name is John. I'll be working here from today. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to working with you all.
He greeted us with great politeness. He had an elegant demeanor, leaving a good impression. Considering our workplace was already predominantly female, the transfer of a young male employee would surely fuel gossip. Hey, did you hear? He graduated from Harvard. No way. That's amazing. I've never seen anyone from Harvard before. And he's single. With John's gentle demeanor and interpersonal skills, he would quickly become popular in this company. At least, that's what I thought. However, after a few days, I noticed that John's expression would darken when he was alone. While he would smile and appear cheerful when interacting with others, he wore a gloomy expression when he was by himself. I wonder what could be bothering him. Is he okay? But then again, men have their own struggles. And although I had my own concerns, seeing John's face gradually becoming more pained worried me. Finally, I decided to approach John and speak to him about it. John, are you all right? Can we talk for a moment?
Oh yes.
Now that we were alone, I prepared to listen to what he had to say.
I'm sorry. Did I make a mistake or something?
It's not that. I've noticed that you haven't been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Her?
John seemed hesitant, as if he was contemplating whether to open up or not. I'm sorry. If it's something personal, you don't have to tell me. But as both your boss and a person, I can't help but worry when I see you looking down. Did you have a lot of work? Or did something difficult happen in your job? If there's anything going on work-related, please don't hesitate to tell me. I spoke to him, trying to choose my words carefully so as not to cause any further distress. I wanted to find a way to address the situation without damaging his pride. Understanding this, John nodded slightly and started to speak, albeit slowly.
Well, actually, I've been feeling pressured.
Pressured?
Sometimes, when things don't go well at work, even though I'm smart, people start doubting if I really went to Harvard and stuff. It's disheartening. It's been causing me stress.
I see.
I've been dealing with this ever since I was a kid.
Her?
My family. It's a bit embarrassing to say, but my father was the president, and we never had any financial difficulties. So there were many people who approached me for money. I've always felt like I've been judged based on my title and wealth, and when I joined the company, I thought people would judge me based on my abilities, but it seems like it's the same here. No one really pays attention to me. When I realized that, I started questioning my own worth.
John, though tears weren't streaming down his face, sniffled and turned away from me, trying to hide his emotions. He seemed on the verge of crying. Seeing him like that, I couldn't help but feel a bit teary-eyed myself. Everyone has their own worries, even those who seem to have it all. It's okay, let them say whatever they want. You're you.
Yes.
I've been through something similar. When I joined the company.
The president, you mean?
Yes, you're the president's son, right?
Yes.
I came from a single-parent family, and we were poor. Looking at John, I decided to share a bit of my own past. Surprisingly, the words flowed out smoothly, as if it happened just yesterday. My mother fell ill, and I had to drop out of high school. It became a topic of gossip within the company. At first, they kept saying that I was useless, completely useless. I was told countless times. They said things like, in this day and age, who drops out of high school? There were even rumors about me being the president's mistress.
What did the president do at that time?
I worked tirelessly. I worked and worked, because, at that time, I loved money. Well, just kidding. Let those who want to say whatever they want. Just wait and see. I tried to cheer up John using jokes and gestures, although only he knew if it truly uplifts him. As I continued talking, trying to align myself with his feelings and injecting humor into the conversation, I gradually noticed John's face brightening up.
Somehow, talking with the president made me feel better.
Well, even though I dropped out of high school, I'm a self-made person from a poor background.
Haha.
The next day after our conversation, John seemed to have transformed. He spoke with a crinkled smile, quickly devising solutions even when there were mistakes at work. His communication with others, which I had been worried about, gradually improved. John seems to be in high spirits now. I'm glad. When John is alone, I can even hear him humming. I was happy to have helped one of the employees, and since that day, John's work started progressing smoothly. In just 6 months at our company, his hard work was recognized, and he was transferred to the head office. I felt overjoyed as if it were my own accomplishment.
Luna, President.
Oh, John, good job.
President, thank you so much. Starting from tomorrow, I'll be at the head office. I truly made it this far thanks to you.
Oh, come on. It's because you worked hard. You don't have to be modest. You've put in the effort, so go to the head office with pride.
Yes. By the way, actually.
John hands me a letter. Just by looking at it, I immediately know what it is.
Actually, I'm getting married soon. I would love it if President Luna could come to the wedding.
Of course. I'm looking forward to a delicious meal.
We have prepared something luxurious, so we'll be waiting for you.
And the wedding day arrived. Dressed in a beautiful dress after a long time, I headed to the wedding. John is getting married. I wonder what kind of woman he's marrying. It's exciting to see. I arrive at the venue, filled with anticipation. Being the president's son, the venue was grand, with beautiful and luxurious decorations. There were people of various ages, from young to elderly. Some were colleagues from the company, and when our eyes met, "Oh, President Luna is here too," they remarked.
President Luna, thank you for coming.
John, what a beautiful wedding venue. Once again, congratulations on your marriage.
Thank you so much. My father and mother were thrilled, so we made it a bit extravagant. The food is delicious, so please enjoy yourselves.
Oh, thank you. At that moment, John's name was called from a distance.
Oh, excuse me for a moment.
The main character is busy. I'll be fine, go ahead.
All right. See you later, President.
Marriage? Huh? I should start looking for a good partner too. Casually thinking such thoughts, as I looked for a seat to sit, I heard a sharp voice saying,
Why are you here?
When I turned around, there stood Emma, my classmate. Emma was wearing a pure white wedding dress. John's spouse was my classmate, Emma. It was the same Emma who used to belittle me for my lower academic background. I felt a jolt, and my grip tightened.
You're that po girl, aren't you? What? Did you come here out of envy? I don't recall sending you an invitation.
I came with John's company colleagues.
Huh? You work in the same company as John? How terrible.
Emma scrutinized me from head to toe and sneered as she spoke.
You know, you still have that pitiful face. It's such a turnoff. To think that a po girl like you would be present on such a grand stage.
Feeling uncomfortable, I noticed John returning.
Huh, Emma, do you two know each other?
He looked surprised at seeing Emma and me conversing. Emma patted my back and laughed.
Oh, no way. We're just high school classmates. This person here is something else. She dropped out in the middle of high school, only has a junior high school education, and came from a single parent, extremely poor background. It's so laughable. It's unbelievable in this day and age.
Emma wrapped her arm around John's arm.
Hey, why did you invite someone like her to our wedding? John is an elite Harvard graduate. It's not a wedding where a low-educated, poor person like her should be present. It's completely mismatched. Hey, John, kick her out of the venue. Tell her to get out. Never come near John again.
Emma made a gesture as if shooing away a fly. Seeing that, John's face turned red, and he exclaimed loudly,
Don't you dare joke around.
John.
Is she a po girl? She's the CEO. Moreover, she's the person who helped me get back on my feet. And you dare say such things.
Emma made a gesture as if shooing away a fly. Seeing that, John's face turned red, and he exclaimed loudly,
Stop messing around.
John.
She's not a po girl. She's the CEO. And she's the person who helped me get back on my feet. How dare you?
Emma widened her eyes in surprise.
CEO, are you kidding?
I took out a business card from my bag and handed it to the astonished Emma.
This company, it's John's.
You're going too far with your words.
But it's strange, isn't it? Harvard graduate John working with a woman who didn't finish high school. It's weird.
So you judge people solely based on their education. Did you also choose me based on my education? Did you evaluate me solely based on my educational background?
Wait, it's not like that.
Then why did you decide to marry me? What was good about me?
John confronted Emma with his questions. Emma playfully twirled her finger and looked at John with upturned eyes.
But, if he's a Harvard graduate, he'll have a secure future. And being the CEO's son, of course, John is cool and hardworking. But Harvard and being the CEO's son, those are also part of John's charm.
To the trembling John, filled with anger, Emma forcibly held his hand.
Besides, I fell in love with everything about you. I told you. I really love you.
It's impossible.
Her?
John shook off Emma's hand.
Sorry, but I can't be with you. Emma, it's really impossible for us.
Her?
Emma let out a bewildered voice. It seemed that being judged based on education and family background was quite a shock to John. He bowed deeply to those around him.
Everyone, I apologize for gathering you all here. We will cancel the wedding ceremony and proceed with the reception instead.
What are you saying, John?
For the meal, it will be served at each table, so please enjoy the reception from your seats. We will also return the wedding gifts on your way out, so please don't forget them.
John lifted his head and faced Emma with a serious expression.
Let's bring my parents and Emma's parents and talk privately. It's impossible for me to be with you for the rest of my life.
No, wait, why?
As Emma clung on to him, John pulled her along, intending to go to a private area. Before leaving, he looked at my face and bowed.
I truly apologize for my offensive words. I will apologize again later.
It's okay. Just go and talk to them first. I'm fine.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Seeing John's dark expression, which I had never seen before, I caught my breath and returned to my seat. Even the exquisite gourmet meal couldn't go down my throat. A few days later, I received a formal apology from John. He also told me what happened after the incident. John and Emma officially called off their engagement. Apparently, Emma was disowned by her parents due to the recent turmoil. Emma had visited John's house multiple times, but he turned her away because he couldn't stand seeing her. It turned out that both Emma and her parents were at fault. During the discussion between both families, some revelations came to light. It seemed that Emma had been repeatedly pressured by her parents to choose a man based on his education and family background. And the reason for her disownment was her decision to break up with John, who had a good educational background, leading her parents to abandon her. That's
Yes. It seems she had been told that by her parents multiple times. Well, I felt some sympathy for her, though, John explained.
I see. After hearing that story from John, I was troubled. Once he finished speaking and left the president's office, heading back to the headquarters, I took out a copy of a resume from my desk drawer. Written on that resume was Emma's name. After the incident, Emma had applied to my company. At first, I thought she had joined as a form of harassment, but I was curious about what John had told me and the reason she stated on her resume. I wanted to hear a little more, so I decided to interview Emma. On the day of the interview, feeling nervous, I came face to face with Emma. However, she had a serious look in her eyes as she entered the interview room. Dressed in a sharp suit, with well-groomed hair, there was no trace of her cute gestures. "Emma-san, I would like to begin the interview," I said.
Thank you very much.
She replied, without a hint of joking. The interview proceeded earnestly, to the point where it was inconceivable that she was playing around. Emma's expression remained stern, and there was no indication of any harassment. She answered the interview questions diligently. That concludes the interview. As I was about to finish the interview after the last question, I suddenly became curious and asked Emma, not as the president, but as a fellow classmate, "I want to know, why did you choose this company?" I could tell that Emma was nervous.
I want to test myself.
Test yourself.
I've stopped relying on men. In this company, if you have the ability, even as a woman, you can rise up, right? I want to walk my own path. Not because my parents told me to, but because I want to stand on my own. I noticed the tension in Emma's clenched fist resting on her knee. I've looked down on various people, including you. But after being driven out by my parents, I realized how worthless I was. I never had the determination to live on my own. It was only when I became alone that I finally understood the hardships.
Emma.
But even so, it's not like me to live subserviently at this age. I will work hard and strive not to be defeated by those around me.
I became more nervous than ever in front of Emma, who I had never seen so serious. However, considering her resume and listening to her during the interview, I made up my mind. 1 week from now, I'll send you an email with the necessary preparations.
Her?
I'm saying you're hired. You passed. Somehow, it reminded me of myself several years ago when the president hired me when I was desperately struggling. Knowing Emma's determination, I decided to bring her into the company. And that choice was the right one. Emma showed even more effort than I had expected. With respect for the single mothers and female employees without a high education whom she used to look down on, she handled her work diligently day by day. Originally, Emma had excellent communication skills, and coupled with her intelligence from a young age, she managed to surpass the parent company's performance in just a year. Emma's dedication made me slightly feel a sense of rivalry, but I was proud of her hard work. And her efforts were recognized not only by me but also by the president who had hired me. Trembling, "Yes, this is Luna."
Luna-san, huh? Are you free today or tomorrow?
"President, welcome back. I'm available. Is it for a work meeting or something?" I felt a surge of tension hearing the president's words over the phone. However, the response I received was unexpected.
Well, how about going out for a drink together? The company I entrusted to you has grown this big. Let me celebrate a little from me too.
Yes, I'd be delighted. On that evening, I went out for a drink with the president. It was actually the first time I had a drinking session alone with the president, whom I was indebted to. Nervously and excitedly, I took my seat. The president took care of everything, choosing a relaxed venue for our gathering. As we enjoyed some drinks and loosened up a bit, I suddenly decided to ask, "Why did you hire me? I mean, you even came to my school." Looking back, it's quite curious. By the way, President, I had been curious about it. The reason why the president, who knew nothing about me, specifically came to my school and chose to hire me, despite me dropping out. It had been bothering me somewhere in the back of my mind. When I looked at the president, they hesitated for a moment before gradually speaking up.
Well, you see,
Yes,
I am your biological father.
yes, her. My hazy mind, blurred by the effects of alcohol, suddenly snapped back to reality. Father? The president? No, my father placed his glass of alcohol down and began to slowly explain.
I wasn't doing well in my career. When I decided to start the company, I couldn't perform well and hardly made any money. But I worked desperately, putting my life on the line.
As a result, he couldn't come home to his family easily. I wasn't aware of it, but it seems that my mother had met my father a few times outside. However, he was too busy, only able to spare a few minutes between work to meet with my mother, and he couldn't come home. And by the time his work started to take off, I had already become a high school student.
I offered to help with your tuition fees, but Luna kept insisting on getting a job. So your mother, if she had the intention to help, asked me if I could hire you at my company.
Though, now that you mention it, Mom mentioned something like that. And it seems that since the company's performance started to improve, my father has been providing financial assistance to my mother. My mother says she's okay, but she has younger siblings. And in addition to university expenses, my father has been sending money every month as a way to make up for not being able to do anything for my mother until now.
What I did was unforgivable. I've been running away from all of you and burdening everything on Mom. When I heard that she collapsed, how much I regretted it.
So, does that mean the company I'm in right now?
Naturally, my hands were at work. A company for single mothers. It might be a way to atone for my sins towards Mom and all of you.
On that day, while drinking alcohol, I had a lot of conversations with my father once again. It was a sudden revelation, and I couldn't drink alcohol at all due to the shock, but I listened to various stories from that time.
I'm truly sorry.
The father I respected as the president lowered his head to me. However, I immediately raised his head. If it were the younger me, I might have been angry with my father. I might have asked him why he left us or which was more important, work or family. But in the end, he helped our family. Even now, he protects my mother's livelihood. I never held any resentment towards my father. I sometimes wish he had helped us sooner. But when I think about how he hired me, treated me well, and watched over me closely, I feel like he truly fulfilled his role as a father. From that day on, I had a father. The president became my father. I talked to my mother about it, and we decided to go out as a family. I couldn't contain my excitement for our first family trip. People shouldn't be judged based on titles or labels. Even if someone has a prestigious title, there are those who don't put in effort or lack manners. And even if someone is Pope, there are those who are competent at their work. But I realized that it's more important to look into someone's eyes and truly engage with them rather than making assumptions based on appearances or titles.